Welcome back. Tonight, I'm going to show you the new product by Claude called Cowork. And to get started, you open up your Claude desktop. This is only available on a Mac, and it's available for Pro and Mac subscribers. In the upper left corner, you'll see a tab called Cowork. Go ahead and click on that. And let's take a look at the 6 different options that you have for categories of Cowork that it can currently do. The first thing that you have here is to create a file. It can create a document, a spreadsheet, or a presentation. Okay, I hadn't done anything with that one yet. Crunch data, I played around with this today. I'm going to show you this in a little bit. You can do a competitor analysis, customer feedback, a data set, or market and industry. Third one is make a prototype. This is just basically using Claude Code. I did one of those. Just a real basic Flutter design. I'll show you that in a second here. It can also do screen designs, a dashboard, or a other tool. Let's see. The third one, this is my favorite one. This is organize files. It can organize a drive, or you can select a different folder over here. You can also organize your photos. If you have a messy desktop, right? It can search for duplicate files. All right. The fifth one, prep for meeting. Okay. Prep for one-on-one, build talking points, prep for an interview. And the last one's draft a message. I don't think I would use that. I use Google Gmail for everything, and that's pretty much got all that built into it. So I really didn't even test that one. But let's get back to the 3 that I tested. And I can kind of show you basically how much they cost and how many tokens they take. So let's get started with the 2 that I did yesterday. I did a video on this the other day. The first one was I built a little Flutter app. And I just said build basically a to-do list, right? Let's take a look at that. And that came up over here, simulator, right? Here we go. Just a real nice basic My Task app. Now, this is what I've noticed. I want to show you guys this. What I've noticed is it's pretty intensive when you're running it on Opus for a lot of tokens. This, almost every app that I tested, it took about 57% of my 5-hour usage limit. And it took about roughly 5% of my weekly limit. So, which kind of worked out to about 35 cents. But the biggest problem was it used all my tokens up for that 5-hour window. And then I'd be locked out of Claude for the next, 5 hours. So I might have to just go up to the max plan. So let's take another look at some of the other analysis that it did. The other thing that I did yesterday was I had to organize my folders. So basically I said, I went with the template here and I told it which folder. My download folder is always kind of a mess, and I kind of gave it an idea on how I wanted it laid out, right? Told it basically I wanted a work in process. I wanted a drafts, and I wanted an archive folder. Right. So it went through. It did a really nice job. This was my favorite feature by far. So it did prompt me for when it wanted me to delete. So make sure you tell it to do that, to prompt. Okay. And then today I had it do an analysis on, just out of curiosity, how well it could do for Jacksonville contract programmers. Right. And as you can see, it did about 2 pages of documentation. This took about 15 or 20 minutes. It did a deep dive, but the results weren't that great, right? Some of these companies down here, these are local, right? Like Discover Tech, Agile Tech Consulting, and Control Alt Digital. Those are local, but the Kingsman Digital Ventures, right? I asked it to find anybody in Jacksonville to do a competitive analysis on. These guys are out of LA. So I don't know where they came from. E-Link is local, right? But this was kind of hit or miss, basically. I didn't get a lot of deep dive information from it. But overall, I think it's a start. I think we're heading the right direction. And then, but by far, hands down, my favorite was to be able to organize my files. It did a fantastic job. It was great. I've got a monster directory that I want it to conquer, but I want to play around with it first because I don't want to accidentally delete anything. And then the other cool thing that I've noticed is up here, besides to the right of Cowork, you've got this new tab called Code. It's a preview. This looks like exactly like Claude Code just coming to GUI, right? So this will be pretty cool. Claude Code's by far their best product. It's fabulous. I think Anthropic Claude is great at writing and writing programs. I think it's outstanding at that. My biggest pet peeve with it is the token usage, where you get locked out after 5 hours. You get a weekly limit. It's just a real pain. I wish it was just in a format to where it's like I could use my whole $20 on the first day, right? I don't like being locked out. I think it's horrible. I think it's even a bad design. I think they'd make more money if you could blow through your $20 and it says, hey, do you want to re-up, right in the middle of the month? I think that's the angle that they should be looking at from a business perspective. But anyhow, tell me what you guys think we ought to talk about tomorrow. And if you guys have played around with Cowork and if there's anything I missed. All right. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Bye-bye.